I'm really impressed by the amount of amazing new legendary weapons from this new Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC. In this video I want to highlight 10 of the best ones that I got so far, like really 10 amazing weapons that I can recommend to anyone. Some are obtainable through the main bosses or the regular enemies in the DLC. Some missions also give you amazing weapons, and there's also a rare boss that gives you one of the best Cioffi pistols. I will tell you everything you need to know in this video. Before we start, I want to thank 2K for sponsoring the video. Totally check the special link in the video description for more information about the DLC and to get it as well if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. A like on the video would be super appreciated. And let's go. Let's start with one of my favorite new weapons, the Insider Molly 1 shotgun. That, just like any other Molly 1 shotgun, got two elements. I love my Incendiary and Shock variant, so I can easily take out the shield from an enemy and then switch to Incendiary to finish it off. And overall, the amount of enemies that are weak against Incendiary damage is enormous in this DLC. Like, we got the new cultist enemies, but also the many new creatures, and the bosses are weak against fire. So this weapon will totally help with that. Like here, I'm using it against these two bosses that you need for another weapon that I will touch on in a second and that you can easily farm as well. And because the bullets pass through the target, I can hit both of them with one shot and easily nuke them down. The Insider does not seem to have a dedicated drop spot yet. It is a world drop, so it can drop anywhere, but we got it from the Empowered Grand boss. And don't worry, by the way, I will not showcase all the bosses of the DLC in this video, just the location where you need to go to and also the drops. But yeah, overall, fighting regular enemies with the Insider gun is really amazing. The 7th Sense pistol is also really good. This one is a guaranteed get from one quest line called the Cold Cases that you start in Curse Haven. There will be 2 quests that you need to do, and then you will reach the final quest in Cankerwoods called Cold Cases Forgotten Answers. It's a really fun side quest, by the way, and after that you get this Jacob's gun. It always seems to come in cryo damage, and the effect is kind of similar to the King's and Queen's Skull, only now you can trigger it yourself. So you shoot these pretty powerful shots, and then on a reload, the projectiles that appear will go back to the original target. This of course deals some nice extra damage, but then the enemies can also easily become frozen. I also found out that when using the fadeaway combo from Flak, these projectiles do crits as well. So yes, totally worth it to do the Cold Cases missions to get this gun. You might know that I love Cioffi Weapons because of their unique overheat mechanic, and in this DLC we got a ton of Cioffi love, especially for assault rifles that weren't that strong in the main game. Well, now we got multiple new ones, namely the Serial Killer that is amazing when fighting multiple smaller enemies, especially if they are weak against fire, and again, many enemies in the DLC fall in that category. If you namely kill an enemy with this gun, you trigger the effect that increases the damage and fire rate and also reduces the heat cost per shot. So they can fire more bullets before your weapon breaks, and during this time you are likely able to kill another enemy, so gain another stack and even higher bonuses. It can stack 3 times, and then you also see this sort of blood around your weapon when you have the stacks active, and as long as you keep killing enemies, you keep the buff going. It's a world drop, so obtainable from any encounter in the DLC. The other really good Cioffi assault rifle is a dedicated drop from the Wendigo boss that you find over here and will encounter at one point during the story. So totally return to it if you did not get this amazing gun the first time around, because on a break, so when you hold the trigger for too long, you have a chance to get the combust effect that guaranteed crits, so it's comparable to when you shoot with the fadeaway from Flak, and this effect also increases the fire damage and lowers the shot cost. The only downside is that you take damage while the combust is active, so it's kinda a risk-reward situation. In my experience, this weapon is better against bosses, while the Serial Killer is a smarter option against regular enemies, but both are great. Before we touch on another amazing Cioffi weapon, a pistol that you get from a rare spawn boss that just erases enemies, it's really insane, I first want to talk about another pistol, the Love Drill. And no, that's not the epic variant that you get after finishing the main story of the DLC. No, you can also get it as a legendary drop from that final boss that you have to kill. This weapon has a great accuracy and rate of fire, but the standout is the crit damage, and its very incredible unique effect. Every shot you namely fire has a 20% chance to add double the weapon base damage as shock damage. This weapon also gives ammo back on crits, even when playing characters that normally don't have that as a skill, so it's a really nice weapon to use, especially against shields. A weapon that I can recommend for every situation is the Soul Render. I'm always impressed by the damage of this dull assault rifle, because it doesn't only do regular damage, but you also have these skulls appear that will automatically go to the target. So then you deal an insane amount of extra damage on top of the already great basic output. On Mayhem 4, it really doesn't matter what type of health bar you got in front of you. Use this gun and then you will get the job done. Also against flying enemies, because again, the skulls will go to the target. You get this one from the Tom and Sam boss that you find over here in the Heart's Desire. And there is actually a nice way to easily farm them without having to quit to the main menu. Just kill one of them and then fast travel to the nearby fast travel point. Then the other one will disappear, and when you enter the arena again, they will both respawn. Yes, you already saw me wreck that flying enemy, and well, that is a rare spawn boss that spawns over here on the map in the Nagul Nashai region. But yeah, high chance that this rare spawn boss will not be there the first time you enter the location, so then you have to quit to the main menu, reload it, likely a couple of times, to finally see this tanky flying creature appear. And then you also have to get lucky that you get this amazing cryo gun, but it will be worth the grind, because amazing is an understatement. If you namely kill an enemy with this pistol, every second shot will deal 200% bonus shock or incendiary damage for 6 seconds. And yes, that's insane when fighting Molly-1 enemies, for example. Cryo would already be nice, but now you have this extra elemental damage on top of that. A great example here against Strand. You deal okay damage normally to this boss, but when you first kill an enemy and then turn your focus to Trant, you see that you like easily melt the boss's health bar. The only downside is, just like with the Linux COV pistol that I also like to use a lot, is that your ammo is gone in no time. But yeah, still it's one of the best weapons of the DLC for sure. And I want to give this weapon away because it can be hard to get. All you need to do is leave your PlayStation Network ID as a reply under the pinned comment for a chance to win. I will announce the winner in a future Borderlands 3 video. It's sadly only on PS4 because that is where I play, but yeah, good luck. The Clairvoyants is also great, with some nice all-around stats and really good damage. But that damage will be enhanced even more with a crit, because crits namely leave these sticky bombs comparable to torque weapons. But with this weapon, they explode after a few seconds, and then they will trigger the other sticky bombs too, so you have a sick damage spike. It always comes in cryo, so an enemy is also frozen in no time. This one is a dedicated drop from a crew challenge boss in the Cursed Haven region. You find it over here on the map. The skill measure is back and it's a world drop in Borderlands 3. It takes some time to get used to this Jacob sniper that functions more as a shotgun, because it fires multiple projectiles and you can also shoot it multiple times after each other before you have to reload. The recoil is namely pretty noticeable, so that's why I found that using the scope is way smarter, and then you can just go through armor or health bars without an issue. We got a level 54 version here, so not even one on the new max level, but this already gets the job done on Mayhem 4. The nothingness is also worth discussing. This Molly-1 shotgun namely behaves very similar to the Flacker, only this one shoots a chain of explosives. So if you find the time to get used to the bullets and find the right angle, then you will be able to hit all the explosions on the same target to deal some massive damage. Just like other Molly-1 weapons, you can switch between two elements, making it great for a variety of enemies, but especially if the enemies do not move, so then you can easily hit all the bullets. This one is also a drop from a new crew challenge boss, and you find it over here in the Cankerwoods region. Subscribe for way more Borderlands 3 videos if you haven't already. We will be highlighting more weapons from this new DLC, and I want to talk about that big update that just went live as well, because it did introduce some interesting changes. Totally click on the special link in the video description to support the channel and learn more about the DLC and get the DLC as well. Thanks again to 2K for sponsoring this video. Check out our previous video on a lot of new content that is coming to the game in April, May and beyond, because there's really a ton to look forward to. You can watch that one by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our special segment that Dennis and I always like to do at the end of a Borderlands 3 video. Hey Dennis.
Hello?
What
trick?
What is that?
It actually doesn't do anything. There's a more useful portal over there, but yes.
Ooh, yeah, we wanted to change things up, and I already had another idea about a fish, but this might be more fun. So what we're trying to do is see who can get the best loot out of this, yeah, sort of rift that we only found one of in the DLC so far, right? While there should be more.
Yeah, but so we played through it pretty quickly and it was pretty late, so we might have missed some. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Indeed. Okay, let's see what we got. It should be instant, so. Ooh. Oh. What is your highest? Did you get a legendary?
No, I did not get a legendary.
Highest gear score?
My highest gear score is 654.
54? Ah, damn it. I got
654.
Yeah, mine is 644. You take this one. Cool, totally subscribe for more Borderlands 3 coverage, like the video to support the channel, and check out again that previous video where we talk about the things that are coming post this second DLC expansion with a free event in April and way more. For now, we will speak to you next time, and goodbye.